Alright, let's get into it. Everyone's watching LeBron, everyone's watching Harden, but the front offices, the smart ones, they're not sleeping on the next 10 names. These are the guys who just missed the top 10, and that's exactly what makes them dangerous. Before we dive in, let's quickly set the baseline for these charts. The red line is this season. The blue line is the league average. That pink background zone, that's top 50 elite territory. And the yellow zone? That's top 10 alien status. Keep those strict standards in mind as we jump into number 10. Number 10, Jordan Goodwin, Phoenix. His overall rating sits at 781, and that is a legitimately useful starter. But here's what pops off the page first. His defense. His defensive rating. It hits 885. That's elite territory. And his steal rating goes even further, all the way to 910. That's top of the league stuff. But don't let the defense distract you from the real story. Goodwin grew up offensively this year. His assist rating climbs to 453. His scoring power reaches 553, both clearing league average, which they couldn't do last season. He's not just a stopper anymore. He's a two-way guard you can actually keep on the floor when the game is on the line. That's a completely different value proposition. He's 27, he's a full free agent. And for any contender that needs perimeter defense without sacrificing offensive floor spacing, Goodwin is the most practical pickup of this summer. Number 9, DeAndre Ayton, Los Angeles. His overall rating lands at 783, and the most fascinating thing about his season isn't the numbers, it's the journey to get there. His scoring power registers at 674. His true shooting percentage, and that's the real measure of shooting efficiency, it comes in at 67.63%. That is remarkable finishing at the rim. But look at his assist rating. It reads 0. Flat. And that's not a bug, that's the point. Earlier this season, Ayton reportedly told the coaching staff, "I'm not Clint Capella." He wanted more. He wanted touches, creation, a bigger piece of the offense. And then he let it go, completely. He dialed his usage rate all the way down to 16.43%. And here's the thing, that is nearly the lowest mark of his entire career. And inside that tiny sliver of opportunity, he converted at over 67%. That discipline, that ego check, that's what makes him scary. A skilled big man who's fully accepted a role and is dominating within it. He's 27 with a player option. For a championship contender missing an interior finisher, Ayton might be exactly the puzzle piece they've been waiting for. Now Detroit. Kevin Huerter, number 8, overall rating 784. The shape of his season is almost brutally unique. His three-point rating collapses all the way to 0. His three-point percentage drops to 30.8%. On the surface, that looks like a guy who lost it. But here's the context that matters. He was playing for a Pistons roster that couldn't generate space, especially with guys like Oscar Thompson on the floor. When your spacing is broken at the roster level, your shooter's numbers aren't really about the shooter anymore. They're about the system. Huerter was essentially playing in a phone booth. So what did he do? He pivoted. Entirely. He poured every ounce of energy into perimeter defense. His defensive rating climbs to 887. That is top 50 in the league. He became a stopper because it was the only way to stay on the floor. He's 27, full free agent. And the only question that matters for his market value is this. Put him in a system with a real point guard, real spacing, a real offense. Does the shooting come back? Because if it does, you've just signed a wing who defends at an 887 rating and shoots 38+% from 3. That combination doesn't exist at any reasonable price. That's why front offices are watching him very quietly. Quentin Grimes, Philadelphia, coming in at number 7, rated 785. His three-point rating pulls back to 319, that's below league average. His scoring power dips to 620. Compared to last season, his offensive presence is noticeably smaller. But his defensive rating rises to 825, that's the door to elite territory. And the way he got there tells you everything about the player he's becoming. On a team built around Tyrese Maxey, one of the fastest point guards in the league, Grimes wasn't asked to score. He was asked not to break things. No gambling. No reaching. Stay in front of your man, protect the system. His three-point clip sits at 33.4%, but his true shooting still holds at 58.54%. That means he's not forcing bad shots. He's only taking the right ones. In the playoffs against his old team in New York, he logged 24 minutes, 7 points, 3 rebounds, and the box score missed the whole story. He was glued to their primary scorer all night. He's 25 years old, he's a full free agent, And if the right system unlocks that shot again, paired with that defensive foundation, you're looking at a top-flight 3-and-D wing, not a good one, a great one. Mitchell Robinson, New York, number 6, rated 791. Look at what he does when he's healthy. His rebound rating reaches 917. That is top of the league, no debate. His defensive rating sits at 886. His block rating comes in at 690. All of that is elite level. All of it. But he's averaging just 19.6 minutes a night, and we all know why. Durability. That's the word that haunts every conversation about Robinson. His body breaks down. In the playoffs against Philadelphia, he missed time again. Mid-series, multiple absences. It's a pattern that front offices can't ignore. And there's more. His field goal percentage is an absurd 72.3%, genuinely one of the highest in the league. But he can't create his own shot, so his SPI scoring production index sits at 6.93, and his free throw percentage comes in at 40.8%, which means the moment the game gets tight, opposing coaches are fouling him on purpose. Hacker Robinson is a real recurring problem. Here's the honest analysis. His ceiling when healthy is one of the most dominant interior presences in basketball. But the question for any front office this summer is, can you build a winning team around a center who plays 20 minutes a night? And how many times can you watch him go down before the gamble stops making sense? Number 5, Colin Gillespie, Phoenix, rated 791. This is a quietly fascinating profile. His three-point rating sits at 737. His assist rating comes in at 628, both firmly in TOP 50 territory. But here's what's interesting. His three-point percentage is at 40.1%, which is legitimately elite, even though his raw three-point rating dipped slightly from last season. Why? Because he expanded the rest of his game. More drives, more mid-range. He's not just a spot-up shooter anymore. He's reading the game and manufacturing points from multiple angles. His scoring power actually climbs to 660, higher than last year. That's a player getting smarter, not just older. And then there's the defense. Last season, his defensive numbers sat below league average. This year, his defensive rating reaches 825. That's a massive leap. He erased one of the clearest weaknesses in his game. He played 80 games, nearly 29 minutes a night. For a player at his size and role, that stamina is a legitimate asset, especially in a market where Robinson's durability is the headline concern. He's 26. He's a full free agent this summer. Efficient shooting, real playmaking, real toughness, and dramatically improved defense. That's not a depth signing. That's a starting guard. Andrew Wiggins, Miami, number 4, rated 796. This is what a fully realized two-way player looks like in the data. His scoring power lands at 642, slightly dialed back. And in exchange, his defensive rating reaches 781, his steal rating hits 671, his block rating comes in at 526. Every single defensive category ticked up from last season. And then the efficiency numbers. His three-point percentage reaches 41.4%. That might be a career high. His true shooting percentage sits at 58.63%. His usage rate is 19.43%. Think about that combination for a second. He's barely touching the ball, and he's still shooting 41% from 3 and making every possession count. He doesn't need the ball to dominate. He just dominates. He's 31, which is the exact age where experience and athleticism coexist at their peak. He has a player option worth around $30 million next season. And there's a real question. Does he stay in Miami? Or does this become the most impactful trade of the offseason? Miami's cap situation is tight. Wiggins is their most movable, high-value asset. The decision he makes in the coming weeks will reshape the Eastern Conference. Kobe White, Charlotte, number 3, overall rating 800. He just crossed the threshold that separates role players from legitimate weapons. But the context here is critical. He's averaging 25 minutes a night off the bench, not a starter, a sixth man. Because of that limited playing time, his overall PIE score sits at 701, but inside that limited window, his usage rate climbs to an elite 28%. That's a primary ball handler number. He owns the second unit's offense completely, and he does it efficiently. His true shooting percentage holds at nearly 60%. Now look at his defense. His defensive rating reaches 823. And here's what's subtle about that. His steal rating comes in at just 520, which is below league average. That tells you something important. He stopped gambling. He stopped reaching. He's playing disciplined, positionally sound defense, the kind that doesn't show up on highlight reels but wins games. He's matured. He played 50 games this season, which is the one legitimate concern. Conditioning, health. That's still a question mark. But when he's on the floor, in limited minutes, running his own offense at a primary ball handler's usage rate, how does a team pay a sixth man? And if they give him a starting role, does that usage rate turn into 25 points a night? That's the bet someone is about to make. Sandro Mamukelashvili, number 2, Toronto. His overall rating hits exactly 800. But the shape of his season is almost the inverse of what you'd expect. His scoring numbers pulled back slightly from last year. His rebounding and blocking dipped a bit too, but his defensive rating surges to 873, a massive single-season jump into TOP 50 territory. And his overall impact score, his PIE, climbs dramatically from below average to an impressive 690. How did his impact rise while his counting stats fell? He barely needed the ball, but posted a true shooting percentage pushing 64%. He became a connective tissue player, the kind of guy who doesn't dominate the box score, but makes everything around him cleaner. Toronto's front office has already said publicly that keeping him is a top priority. He's 26. He's almost certain to decline his $2.8 million player option and test the open market. And this season, the defensive leap, the two-way balance, the team-first profile, all of it becomes his strongest argument for a real contract. And the number 1 name on this list, Norman Powell, Miami. His overall rating reaches 804, and his season is defined by one thing: he went after it. His scoring power expands to 817, his true shooting percentage stays elite at nearly 61%. While his defensive rating pulled back slightly from last year and his three-point efficiency dipped a touch, his volume, his aggression, his ability to create points in high-pressure moments, all of it grew. He's the microwave scorer that every contender drafts around when they need instant offense off the bench. He's 32, full free agent, and there is no shortage of teams who will be calling. That wraps up our 2-part board. 20 players in total who just missed or just cracked the elite tier this summer. Defenders who became scorers. Role players who became decision makers. Sixth men who play like starters. All of them hitting free agency at the same time. The question is, who does your team actually need? Drop it in the comments. Tell me which player fits your contender system and why. Let's talk ball. If this breakdown helped you see the market differently, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.